Great. Well, thank you, Sherman, and welcome, Mike, my partner in crime today. Uh, you know, some of you have actually met me before. I've been here, in different capacities, and Sherman keeps on hitting me up. So apparently, I'm doing a good job marketing myself, right? But just by way of background, I've actually been fortunate enough as a consultant to be able to work at product companies, across services organizations, and really my role has been as an evangelist and as a change driver, not just for the customers, but also internally at the companies themselves, right? And as part of the journey, I've realized that marketing is a key part of any consulting service that you provide. It really needs to be part of the DNA for each and every one of you out there. Currently, I work for CloudMoyo, so we implement solutions built on the Microsoft technology stack with a focus on contract lifecycle management. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with, CLM, but it's really the new muscle within companies. And, we are kind of at the forefront of tapping into this huge opportunity. I'm this industry services lead, and, that's what we focus on, going to market. And then also I manage the Microsoft relationship, having kind of, been on both sides of the aisle. And, as I like to tell myself, being an Indian guy in Seattle, you have to pay your dues doing that, right? So that's me. And thanks again, Sherman.
So my name is Mike Plumer. I'm with a company called Altigen Technologies, and I've been at Altigen quite a while now, 28 years coming up, and in the technology area more than 30, but specialized in communications for the last 28. And so just a little bit about Altigen. So we focus on cloud-based communications. We started out when I joined the company back in the 90s as a PBX manufacturer on a system that ran on Windows NT. So that's like 1,000 years ago at this point. And over time, we migrated our focus to Microsoft-based communications as they came out, OCS, then Lync, Skype, and now Teams. And so today our primary focus is in helping companies migrate from a legacy phone system, could be even a legacy cloud system at this point, to Microsoft Teams Phone, and really helping them capitalize on their investment in Teams.
How do you calculate? And this is a good one, ROMI. A lot of us don't. A lot of us talk about ROI, but we learned yesterday that in marketing it's called ROMI, return on marketing investment. Aditya, can you want to give us your thoughts on that? Start with you.
Yeah, I love the word ROMI. It reminds me of a friend that I had growing up. But yeah, so I mean, I think there is the most important thing. The companies actually, before they go down even coming up with the measurement, it's really critical that they define the right goals that they want to measure, right? Marketing has to be measured, can be measured across so many different things, right? It could be the cost of customer acquisition, it could be retention, it could be brand awareness, right? So how do you go ahead and define and agree on what those are before you start figuring out, whether you are making the right investment? One thing that people forget a lot from an expense perspective is the amount of money they're spending on technology and tools, for instance, right? Obviously, there's a cost to campaigns, but how much are we spending on some of the AdWords that you're buying? And again, what's the outcome as part of it? So long-term value is something that, a lot of people need to start thinking about, right? To, Mike's point earlier, it's not the fact that you are spending money on marketing and you're going to see an outcome next month or 2 months down the road, right? You have to keep on repeating that message again and again, and maybe someone's going to call you 2 years down the road, right? So that's kind of the element of that. And then finally, obviously there is continuous improvement. And I think that's where benchmarks become really critical. A lot of customers want to know how they're doing against their competition. That's really what matters to them at the end of the day, right? So how do you do that? So pulling all those things together and then doing that simple formula and saying how much you spent, how much revenue you got, you can come to a ROMI. But again, it's a long-term view. And again, I think that's what companies need to understand. They're in this for a long term, not a short term, do something today and see the impact tomorrow.
Mike, I'll go to you first. What are some of the best bets that you're putting your money into this year?
We are doing targeted webinars, one to the general, kind of Microsoft community. We also do some vertical marketing, in our case, to financial services, some extremely targeted marketing through a partner. So also in that case, webinars. I think a point you made at the beginning, educating versus product information. that's a challenge sometimes, not to just talk about the products and the technology versus on how does it help people, that sort of thing. We're investing more in video this year and AI driven video, and also really trying, kind of going back to basics a little bit and focusing on stories.
Aditya, what are some of the bets that you're placing on? And then I'll go with some of the stuff that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic, that we're doing a webinar right now, because I think there is a fatigue around digital marketing, webinars, and podcasts. That's what I've realized. And thank you everyone for joining us today. There's great value here, which is why we exist. But I think, what we have been doing a lot is, going to trade shows nowadays. And I think people want to go out there and meet people again, right? Not only did, the pandemic impact people's ability to meet other people, but it's transitioned into where everyone's working out of the office and everyone's kind of lonely. I want to make that connection. And what we've been doing is, as part of the trade shows, though, we are not going out there putting up booths. We're actually facilitating sessions with our customers, right? So we want to be perceived as thought leaders in the space, as opposed to a demo booth kind of a person. So I think that's a key trend in the works. Again, don't stop doing what you're doing, what's working, but do start thinking about investment in having people go out there and meet others.
I like that. I do believe, the booth, that can be expensive, and there ends up being a lot of different types of leads. I can tell you, from my perspective, one of the best tools, or not best bets, but I guess a tool that we've been using is we've changed the way that we think about marketing, as opposed to, we're not doing product marketing. We're not trying to product market. Microsoft already spends $1 billion on product marketing. So why should we continue to help them with the product marketing? Instead, we're thinking about, okay, if a customer is on the cloud consumption journey, they might have questions about that product, or how it works, or what are the benefits, or stuff, because most people kind of want to do the research today. It's much easier to do the research before they actually meet somebody. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if somebody's thinking about Microsoft Fabric, I'm going to send them, if they download a white paper, it could be the top 10 reasons to deploy Microsoft Fabric in your business, right? Then my second piece of marketing that I would send them is not, hey, buy Microsoft Fabric. It would be top 10 financial considerations for implementing a Microsoft Fabric implementation. My next one would be, here's a framework for your Fabric implementation. And then lastly, here's are 10 tips and tricks to maximize your Fabric implementation. Now, I know it says Fabric in there, right? But I'm not marketing Fabric by Fabric. What I'm doing is I'm trying to help that person break down those barriers of trust, but also get that information and look at me as a leader. Now, vertical, I like the vertical piece of it, Mike, because vertically, if you can talk about solving problems, okay, that's a psychological trigger, right? We all notice this. If we look at 5 websites, I challenge each of you right now, go to your local, go in your city, type in top 5 MSPs in Southern California. Okay, you know what you're gonna find? You'll find 5 people listed there, and each company, when you click into it, you know what it's gonna say? We're the best at IT. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We are the best at IT. We are the best at IT. You call us and we will help you better than anybody else. There's no differentiator. So we have to start thinking, how do we differentiate? How do we separate ourselves from the noise? Okay, and that goes to Mike's idea of, hey, let's maybe reset our webpage to have 3 different industries that we work on, right? That we work on, but we solve problems in those industries. You can still say you're the best IT company, but right underneath that, it says we specialize in helping healthcare, manufacturing, and professional services solve their IT problems. Click here. They click in, and then it says, these are 10 problems that we see in your industry. Click on these stories to show how we've actually done it. Bam! That's how we're starting to do marketing. Now, the other one is ChatGPT, a great thing that we're using here. I went there, 8 months ago when Andres kept hitting me over the head, Sherman, you gotta use AI. And I typed in, write 10 content syndication emails that are different, that talk about the pros and cons of Microsoft Fabric. Boom! Man, in 30 seconds, it had 10 separate emails, and they were all content syndication emails, right? You can totally do that, right? So Jeff DiMaria, the great man over there from Stratos, yeah, you're right. Add Dynamics 365 to that story, right? We could totally do that, right? We solve problems. We use Dynamics. Anyways, product marketing's out. That's what I think some of the best bets. Now, we need to align. We need to use the tools. We need to kind of think about solutions, right? Solutions to problems, not necessarily product marketing. We need to stop about that. And then also needs to be a combination of everything, right? Us all together and tracking, and then making little bit tweaks. So I'm curious. Looks like that. Yeah. So we've had some good answers here on that. Just lastly, just save the date for our next session. Is actually the end of July. We are actually going to be mastering Microsoft Partner Center. So we're actually going to be doing a walkthrough of Microsoft Partner Center, and we're going to be showing you the ins, the outs, the specifics, what to focus on, what to not focus on. My whole idea is there's 1,000 programs at Microsoft to focus on. Okay, I want to boil this ocean down to a little tiny cup of water that's got 5 little things in it, and that's it. That's all we want to focus on, are 5 things, because you know why? I'm going to show you. Those things are going to bring you the best return on investment of your time being a Microsoft partner. That's what you're going to take away from this, and you're going to forget the rest. Okay, you're going to focus on those 5 things for the next 6 to 12 months. And then whammy, now you'll get the most incentives. And then number 2, you'll be able to work with Microsoft sellers, and they'll start bringing you deals. Okay, that's what you're going to get from the next session. So anyways, Aditya, thank you so much. Mike, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you very much for your time today.